Hello and welcome back to the FTCR Mega Man 3 Let's Play. In this part, as with the previous Mega Man LPs, we're just going to be murdering the final four Robot Masters, starting with Needle Man.
No, we're not.
Yep, LP cancel, get rid of it. Turn it down.
I will say, I think most Mega Man, a lot of the Robot Masters in Mega Man games have somewhat of a stock design. Like there was normally a big guy, like Gutsman. Like it was like kind of Airman in Mega Man 2, Hardman obviously in this game. But I think Needle Man across the at least the classic line has one of the most unique designs from any Robot Master. I really like his design.
Yeah, he doesn't. His.
I don't think it's unique. It's the Airman design.
I would say you're fucking wrong. I would say Needle Man is a lot more unique looking than Airman is.
I can.
Yes, but I'm talking about the head being like the same part as the body.
Yeah, well, it's less man-like, and it's just sort of like it's definitely man-shaped, but it's not exactly like you couldn't look at this person and be like, oh, they're a person. Just
the head is like incorporated into the body.
Yeah, I think Airman looks more man-like than Needle Man does. Like if I had to pick between getting a blowjob from one of those two, I'd probably pick Airman.
Because he sucks, or because he blows?
Both.
He's got a giant fan for a mouth. He'll just chop it to pieces.
Can we talk about the roly ass hedgehogs? This came out in 1990. All right, come on, yeah. Sonic. Come on, man.
Stop ripping off Mega Man.
Steven, if you would look at the brochure that I gave you via the mail, you would see that those are actually porcupines, not hedgehogs.
Porcupines.
Oh goodness!
Did you get the brochure, Steven? Did you get it in the mail?
And as usual, TJ ruins DLP. I think one of the things about Mega Man 3 that a lot of people don't know, and I think even I didn't really get into the Archie Comics adaptation, which made me go back to the original material. In Mega Man 3, he's in space. He's going to 8 different space colonies. To fight the Robot Masters.
I didn't get that far in the comics to get that bit. I went right up to the last trade because Archie refuses to finish off the trades for that damn series.
We're in space right now?
Yeah, well, technically we are in space, so I guess after we do... Needle Man is not normally that easy.
You got really lucky with that last shot.
I got really lucky with his placement. Normally Needle Man is one of the more awkward Robot Masters to fight. But yeah, for some reason, like we're in space, we're going around collecting, and also this is another thing where you'll notice none of the boss encounters have the Wily, have the Wily symbol, because this is actually at this point the story between Mega Man 2 and 3 is Wily has reformed, and all of these Robot Masters, they're kind of a co-production between Wily and Light, and it's meant to be somewhat of a secret that Wily is behind all these robots going insane. At this point, if you read the game manual, we're led to believe that Wily is a good guy.
Oh.
Yeah, the funny thing is, if you got no indication, didn't read the manual at all and just played the game, you probably wouldn't even think about that. It's like, oh yeah, wait, Wily's still the bad guy, let's do this.
Yeah. Which I think, there was a span between, I think, 3 to 6. They really tried to make it like, there was always like a different person at the face of who's responsible. So like in number 4, it's Dr. Cossack. In number 5, we're led to believe it's Proto Man has gone evil. In number 6, it's just the kind of robot Olympics, tournament thing they have. And then
it's Mr. X.
Mr. X, yeah. And then when you get to
the cleverest of disguises.
Yeah, and then I love in the Archie comic book they actually do something pretty clever with the Mr. X twist. They set that up well in advance before they got to Mega Man 6. Yeah. The Archie comic, it's such a fucking, to go on a slight I don't think we've actually brought up the comic book once in these LPs, so go for a slight tangent. Dude, that was my fucking favorite book.
Oh, I was always looking forward to when the next trade came out and to read more, because they just handle it like. The first few comics, like the adaptation
so you only
of
bought
one
trades, so it's your fault.
Yeah, it is my fault. But whatever. If they would count the damn trades, we wouldn't have this problem.
Wait,
At least I'm buying the damn game.
Comics?
Or buying the damn thing. Yeah, comics.
Oh, gross.
But no, it's really funny how the adaptation of the original Mega Man felt so quick.
It did.
But by the time you started, the build up to Mega Man 3 took a long time.
What's great about Mega Man 3 is that it used like the arc beforehand to set up backstory, and like so Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2 were both done in a 4-issue arc. The great thing about Mega Man 3 is, aside from the build up, the actual official arc is 8 issues long.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is because the first like arc is just him against the Robot Masters. Like there's no real story, it's just him fighting Robot Masters. And I think one of my favorite things is Needle Man. Needle Man, when he's introduced to Needle Man's knitting, and Mega Man's like, do you want me to come back later? And Needle Man goes, no, please, just kill me. I don't want to live. And Mega Man goes, oh, okay. And just cuts the Needle Man's face like, oh, fucking dumbass. And then they just start fighting. Like, Ian Flynn's work in that book, I miss it. Goddamn miss. And again, according to Archie Comics, it's just on hiatus. It could come back at any moment, but this is the same company who said that the recently cancelled after 2 issues Betty and Veronica book was the most anticipated debut in comic book history. So
I can't believe Betty is fucking dead.
You know, in the main book, she almost was. She was in a car crash. People thought she was dead for a month, but then no, she's not, because that would be too interesting.
Thanks, Walmart.
Boy, it sure was nice of Walmart to give us all this nice Walmart stuff in exchange for saying
Walmart so
much.
many times. I love that. Neat. Here we got Sparkman, the second in the long line of I don't have fucking hands Robot Masters, along with Crash Man and Drill Man. That would fucking suck if you were one of these robots that didn't have hands and you had to try and do like regular shit.
I mean, they're robots, so theoretically they don't have to do regular shit. So
I mean, they're being controlled by Wily, and if Wily tells them to do something that requires hands, that means he's the idiot, not them.
Weapon doesn't do a damn thing on most enemies. Yay!
It doesn't. It's Spark Shot. It's really like it's useful against something Magnet Man, which is why I go to him now. But for most enemies, it'll either just freeze them in place or bounce off. But sometimes if it freezes in place, if they're like jump in the air and you get them and you can't slide underneath or jump over them, you have to either wait 20 seconds for the effect to wear off and shock him again, or you need to just jump through them. It's like, then what's the fucking point of me freezing you in the first place?
Shoot him.
Yeah, alright.
I'm confused.
Okay, when aren't you?
What was the level called for Sparkman?
It was called
Sparkman State.
Sparkman.
Shadow Man stage.
So in Sparkman. In Sparkman Zone, you go from
Sparkman Zone.
you go from the 3rd floor to the basement number 10 within 4 screens, and that kind of confused me. Because all the different floors are labeled.
Pay attention.
It works like the elevator from, what was it, Star Trek 5?
But he fell down 4 floors and went from the 3rd floor to basement 10.
Look, Steven, I'm not going to sit here and explain this to you all day. You have to have a high level of intelligence to understand what Sparkman's stage layout is.
So
Mega Man does have an awesome theme.
Yeah, I think Mega Man 3 might be my favorite soundtrack.
I'd have to agree. It is.
It's a really fucking good soundtrack. So in terms of weapon, in terms of Robot Master weapons, I think some of the later games, like I think 5 and 6 suffer from pretty weak weapons like that you get. I think is it 5 that gives you 3 shield weapons?
It's 2 shield weapons.
Yeah, 2. But I think 3 has, aside from, I think 3 has 6 pretty good weapons. I think Top Spinner is fucking useless because half the time you try and use it, you will take damage. And I think the whatever Sparkman gives you, that piece of shit weapon, is also pretty useless unless it's an enemy that it's weak to. But I think Shadow Blade, I think Hard Knuckle is a pretty decent weapon. The Search Snake is pretty sweet, and also obviously this is the game that introduced Rush and the Rush power-ups. This is without question the best version of Rush yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It's
Which
downright
boys do you
broken.
think are cute?
Was that said again?
Which boys do you think are cute?
Hardman, obviously.
No, which real-life boys?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Top 10 real-life boys.
Top. Okay. I'm gonna go with myself. I'm gonna be humble here. I'm gonna put myself at number 2.
Magnet Man,
then
he does what a magnet can.
Okay, this joke I
I'm
don't.
gonna tell you why you shouldn't ever fuck with Magnet Man. His name is Magnet Man. Got
magnets full in his hand.
He's
He's got a knife in his hand. Don't fuck with Magnet Man. He'll take and stab you and take all your money, man. You got to know when to let shit fucking go.
I think we better not fuck with Magnet Man. I think we better not fuck with Magnet Man. In fact, we better not fuck with Magnet Man. Let's go.
I was really bummed out that when the Megas did their proper version of that song, they changed it to "Don't Mess with Magnet Man."
you knew they
Fuck with
weren't
Magnet
gonna
Man
do
is-
that.
Yeah.
It's far funnier.
Quit acting like you actually thought that those were gonna be the lyrics.
They could have. I got fucked by Magnet Man. So then, again, another question for... I feel bad about excluding Steven, but he must have known this was going to happen when he's never played a single Mega Man game in this...
What's your
It's
favorite
fine.
Robot Master, Steven?
It's fine.
Yeah, so Steven, what's your favorite Robot
Don't worry
Master?
about me. It's fine.
How do you feel about bees?
It's hip to fuck them.
Please. So again, TJ and Derek, then, what would you say... what is your favorite set of weapons? If I had to pick my favorite, like, as a whole, like, 8 weapons that I think Joe to give a pretty good, I would probably say that 8 actually has my favorite
Yeah.
weapons.
That's a pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid set of weapons.
I also like in 8 the fact that I think some of the later 8-bit games started doing this, but 8 really took the what the power-ups can do into the level design.
If you can excuse me to be a moron for a moment, I think 5 has the best set of weapons. Just if we're being stupid here.
You just said 8, which is it?
Doesn't 5 have Charge Man?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, where
where
the terrible kick
yeah,
that
the
doesn't do
charge
anything.
kick that might as well be the top spin of that game.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse than the
than
top
the
spin.
Like I don't know I'm not encyclopedic when it comes to Mega Man, but I do know that.
No, but what I was saying was, if I'm being serious, I agree with you. 8 does have the best set of weapons because it integrates them into the levels the best. But if I'm being an idiot, I would say 5.
I always thought the design and color of this monkey reminds me of the Zord that the Red Ranger gets in the Power Rangers movie. And he gets like the big dumb looking monkey.
Power Rangers.
Steven's favorite franchise after DuckTales and Men in Black.
I like Men in Black. The first movie.
Oh yeah, only the first movie.
If I know anything about Steven, I know that he does not like the Men in Black movie. I knew it was a franchise that started with M, and it wasn't Muppets. It was certainly Men in Black.
Anyways,
Like Men in Black Take Manhattan, Men in Black in Space.
Men in Black Treasure Island.
just by watching this footage,
A Men in Black Christmas Carol.
watching Mega Man in Black right now, I'm assuming that Mega Man would be really good with 2 analog sticks, like one to control his movement and one to select which power you have.
I actually think that's the control scheme for Mega Man 11.
Oh yeah?
Well, I know in Mega Man 8, and it's something they took out of 9 and 10, which is dumb. In Mega Man 8, when you're playing it on like the PlayStation controller,
Wait, is that a joke? Is there a Mega Man 11?
Yeah, they just announced it. This,
it's coming out. Yeah,
Okay. Well, that should really be a thing because you should really utilize the whole controller and the whole starting and stopping thing just to select different powers is kind of obnoxious. Doing it all on an analog thumbstick would be great. And we just killed someone.
We killed a man.
Well, I mean, obviously, this being on the NES, they had limited buttons.
Yes,
and when they went
yeah.
to Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation 1, you could just using the L and R triggers, you could just cycle through your weapons. And
That's okay.
Mega Man 8 also did the great thing of if you have say Clownman's weapon, you can still fire the Mega Buster. I think in terms of control, I hope 11 plays like 8. because I know some people don't like 8 because of the level design and what have you, and I get that, but I think in terms of control, Mega Man 8 is damn near perfection for how he should handle. I really, okay, he's slightly too slow, like make him a bit faster, but in terms of what you can do with the button configuration, I know that I think Mega Man 8
I think there's a lot to love about
good.
8. It just has its issues.
Jump, slide. Well, thank you for watching us murder Rock Masters. Please join us next time on part 3 for the most pointless OP part ever uploaded to FTCR.